All right, hello out there in cryptocurrency land. Long time no see from Real Crypto. It's been about a month since I last posted on YouTube. Sorry about my absence, but working on some other things, taking me away from the public side of YouTube here. Mexican Charlie, what's up, buddy? How are you? Yeah, it's been a long time. You want to look at Omise Go? Okay, gotcha. What's up, TA? Noel? No, I don't know if this is a crashing video. This is a potential move video is really what it was. We were in the power hour this morning, and they told me to go live if we were gonna do something, and we're coming up at that 4,200 level. It has been a long time, everyone. Again, sorry about that. I've just been actually working on a larger trading program, and that's been taking up a huge portion of my time. So that's what I've been doing. Well, so here's the thing, so I thought I'd jump on live right now. Bitcoin, I'm sure you guys have been knowing about this. I've still been around, just haven't been posting live on YouTube. Doing the power hour every day as normal, talking about the markets, catching some huge moves in the altcoin sector, and just noticing how crazily flat Bitcoin has been rising on lower volume. And the 4,200 level, everybody knows, I'm not the only one writing about this and talking about this, I'm sure, is really kind of the line in the sand for Bitcoin. This is an area, and it's not exactly 4,200, but it's pretty darn close to 4,200, that something's going to have to happen. So, well, thanks, Ian. Appreciate that, buddy. Super chat from Ian. Thank you very much, sir. But yeah, it's been cool. But coming up here to 4,200 is an interesting point in the market. So far in the bear market, we have had a number of potential turning points, and this is just another one of those potential turning points. Doesn't mean we're going to go bullish off of this. Doesn't mean that we're going to fail immediately off of this. As a matter of fact, this is really one of those 50-50 scenarios. It really can go either way. There has been a change in the market behavior, I'm sure, as a lot of you guys are aware. We've been discussing Litecoin's tremendous run off of the lows and really taking leadership of the market. Litecoin has just been, it's been the definition of a leader. If you guys want to know the definition of a leader, do a Litecoin over Bitcoin chart. That'll tell you what a leader is. But Litecoin's been very flat up here. It really hasn't done anything. It's for the past week or two. It's been very, very flat, very tight trading range. Volume's been diminishing, and it's just been kind of giving up its reins to Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, we've been looking at it in the versus BTC. Where's LTC at? Thanks, Jerry. Excuse me. LTC. Can't even do alphabetical. So we've been noticing Litecoin versus Bitcoin over the past week or so. We've had this head and shoulders pattern. Now it didn't break in a huge fashion, but what I've been saying ever since we were over here is that it looks like Litecoin maybe giving up its leadership role to Bitcoin, giving it back to Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin's going to lead you in a direction, essentially. So Litecoin may follow Bitcoin up at this stage of the game, or Bitcoin may lead Litecoin back down. It's really difficult to say exactly what's going to happen. And you can see right now Bitcoin's up 1% and Litecoin just floundering about a 0.25%. So really not taking any leadership at this particular point in time. Some other things we've noticed kind of from a macro perspective, because it has been a while since my last video. My last video talked about a potential change in the Bitcoin cycle. And I kind of start my videos out with we take the market one leg at a time while keeping the market cycle in mind. I think that's very important. The market cycle really does lead you in the types of trades you should be looking into more than, longing versus shorting, shorting versus longing. You pretty much only got two choices. Well, you have three, which is to stay cash. But I can only see chat. I should be okay. If anyone else is having issues watching the video, please let me know. But yeah, so from the market perspective, we've been below the 200. We remain below the 200. and nothing's changed there. One thing that's interesting, that we just noted today, as a matter of fact, I've got this volume aggregation tool we've been using for a few months, and it's pretty handy. It's pretty handy. There's not necessarily, I haven't found like the exact use case for it. I have a few use cases that I like for it, but anyway, long story short, this adds up buying and selling pressure. And on the daily time frame, the volume aggregation, you can see here's the sell volume, here's the buy volume. If you look currently, the sell volume is 0, which Bitcoin's only had 0 sell volume over here at the top. So we had 0 sell volume at the very top over here. Look at that, December 17th. December 16th, December 17th is when it looks like it was maybe the 18th, and then sell volume came back in. So right at the top we were at 0. Now over here we're at 0. I'm not quite sure that means we're topping, but it could mean a minor topping signal. At the same point, it could also mean we're just consolidating so tightly into this 4,200 range that no one dares to sell a Bitcoin, and we really could pop out of this very violently if indeed you get a huge buy order that it just triggers so many buy orders and probably so many short stops that it would make a huge pop in BTC, which is possible. Perfectly possible. Capitulation, April Fools. Yeah, we can talk about capitulation a little bit. We've touched on that during the power hour as well. We've done a lot of talking over the past while about the whole market situation, altogether. That's kind of that is one interesting note here. Just the zero sell and the volume aggregation tool. Again, that's not necessarily something that definitively means you're at a turning point, but it definitely could with an extreme lack of selling. I've only seen that one or two other times, and one time it led to a turnaround, another time it did not. So, you never kind of know. So anyway, talking about the bigger picture here, one thing that has changed in terms of market cycles is we have held down by the 200. We're still being held down by the 200, but we are holding up above the 50 period moving average on the daily chart, which is a bit different. Now, we have been above the 50 in the past, but we've never remained above it. We rallied and failed. We rallied and failed, barely poked above it. And now we went above it, and we've been sustaining the 50-day moving average. The volume aggregation tool, that's actually not publicly available. I have that in the power hour. That's a power hour kind of bonus feature there. So yeah, we are above the 50-day, which is a change in behavior, and that does imply that the aggressive selling has abated. Doesn't mean that we're going to go back into an uptrend. Really, the 200-day moving average is kind of the major signal for that. Even a pop above the 200 doesn't necessarily mean we're immediately going to go into a bull market. We definitely can have a time of consolidation, and we have been consolidating for a considerable amount of time, about a month and a week, just right here alone, just in this little garbage area with BTC. But we are at 4,200, which is that kind of line in the sand. If this thing doesn't rocket out of here, and we don't get flat action, if we start to break this trend line here, we've been very actively following. During the power hour, undercut there. I don't think we did that. I don't think we caught that one live. I think that was... we did kind of catch that one a little bit live, but the volume we noted wasn't very high. That's what we kind of ended up coming to the conclusion of. The volume didn't end up that high, and so then the bulls just reversed it higher. And ever since then, the bulls have just been reversing everything higher. So, where's my... What happened to my VA tool? Super flat. That's not healthy. Let's get that back. All right, there we go. So, and even on the 2-hour chart, you can see the VA tool showing lots of green, not a lot of red, and the red's actually been diminishing. You can probably draw a trend line across these red tops like that, and you can see the pops in the green, and the red has just been held down by this declining trend line. So very, very few sells in this market. Very, very few sells. Now, another thing about this, and that's what these trend lines here are for. I'm not abducted by aliens, English. I live with the aliens. Okay, get it right. So you can see right here we have two declining volume scenarios. So here's another thing that's kind of interesting that may point to this actually being a top and not a breakout point. is that we end up with declining volume. Anytime you end the declining volume, not any time, but a lot of times when you end declining volume in a trend direction, it leads to a trend reversal. Okay, it leads to a trend reversal. Now, what would be the most bullish up here really would be sideways action. In my opinion, that would be a little bit more bullish if we were to just continue sideways in very, very low volume. Kind of similar to what Litecoin has been doing. So Litecoin, we've been talking about this as well, is that there's a saying called never short a dull market. Well, Litecoin's about as dull as you can get for the past, what, 5 or 6 days. Extremely tightly range bound, just nothing. Litecoin's been basically untradeable unless you're in for micro gains. Just very, very tight ranges. So this does look fairly bullish in Litecoin, almost indicating Litecoin remaining a little bit of a leader versus BTC. So, and what we're seeing today, actually in the past couple of weeks, if you guys have been really paying attention. So this is my list of the top 20 USD coins. And, you know, every day in the Power Hour, we go through the top 20 USD just to kind of get a feel for what everything's doing, apples to apples against each other. And then we move over to the Power Hour coins over here where we go through, you know, all the gambling stuff. Feels like that sometimes. But one thing we've noticed here is that chart after chart just continues to set up. Like, in looking through everything today, you know, we've been kind of preparing for this 4,200 level for the past couple of days. I'm telling everyone, have your trading plans ready. Have the levels that work with your trading plan, with your style. Just have those set and ready to go, and then let them trigger and just let it go. You know, kind of let the chips fall where they may. But something that we have been noticing is that everything, almost everything here has been setting up. And it has run, if not running, you know, if not running right now. BTC, getting up there. BTC is the only thing that actually hasn't really had a run, other than XRP, which has just been hot garbage as of late. But even XRP looks like, you know, respectful of this longer-term trend line here. And then coming into this declining trend line, broke it the other day, trying to break it again, a higher low. This one, you know, probably could continue up with a market pop, maybe very aggressively. I don't know for sure. I'm sure the volume is just horrible in terms of its, you know, look at that. Look how dry that volume is right there on the daily chart on XRP. That is insanely low. I mean, like, you zoom out on this on XRP, and it's obvious that there hasn't been volume. Even going back over here, the volume, let's look at the average volume here in orange. Currently at 594,000, 1,500,000, 700,000, 600,000, up to 1 million. Obviously, this is all going to be more elevated. Then over here, you still end up with 2 million. This whole area is 2 million. And over here, we're at a quarter of that almost. So extremely low volume, extremely low volume. Also kind of a dull market. So potential for XRP to make a move. Because, I mean, just a little bit of volume. If really this almost reeks of no one's selling XRP is really what it is. And just holding this 30-cent level. And then, you know, I'm not going to say we're going to rally right back to $1, but, you know, it could rally up pretty hard, XRP. But XRP really not doing anything, one of the few. Also, Ethereum not very active as of late. We have noticed that difference as well. The big coins, not much. Everything else has moved. Ethereum also another one. A cup and handle here. We've been talking about this for the past month, it seems like. Yeah, about a month, maybe a little bit more. Cup and handle here in Ethereum. Someone mentioned EOS moving. EOS did move and has been moving pretty good off of the lows. We've been tracking it all the way up. We noticed this is a much longer trend line on EOS right here. That's been broken well down here. We had an alert level over there. And subsequently, you know, moving up and moving up. Sorry, phone's blowing up. Ah. Buddy building a stereo system asking for my advice. Nice. Love building stereo systems. All right, so Bitcoin Cash has already had a couple of moves. Not as big as some, but Bitcoin Cash moves tend to be larger than most. I mean, that little move there is about 30%. We all know about this huge move back late last year. It's been consolidating that for a long time. Actually, we've been talking about inverted head and shoulders. We haven't really touched on this in a couple of weeks probably, but we did break out from that right there, and we've been slowly working its way out of here. Has a rising wedge currently, but not really breaking down Bitcoin Cash. Also volume declining, you know, ready to go. Everything's ready to go. Litecoin, we already know about its huge rally. I mean, up like 100+%, 170% out of the lows for LTC, really taking leadership. Tron moved a while ago. It's been consolidating, moving today. This is an alert level we had today for Tron, 2441. Actually, I think we had that yesterday. Maybe the day before. XLM's been doing some pretty good things lately. You see the volume on the daily chart here on these kind of scalloping action here. Now we have a higher low, been respective of that trend line. You got Bitcoin Cash SV, which whatever, but it looks like it could be coming out of this trend line here. We don't really have an alert level set for this, but it would actually be right about here, right on this trend line is where we would put that alert. Cardano, we already know about Cardano. We've been on top of Cardano this whole entire way up, at least from right here, talking about an ascending base on the way up. 1, 2, 3 bases, and then off we go. We've been all over that one. BNB, a little late to the BNB party, but we noted, holding this trend line very well. XMR has been a little less fluid than most, but lately, past couple days, its mojo going. 56.98 was our alert for that one. That one got going. I mean, IOTA, which hasn't been looking good, sitting here with a cup and handle, which is what this trend line is the slope for your handle. That one's kind of getting going. This would be a more traditional buy point right here, but the early entry in IOTA already eclipsed. So we were kind of on that one. We don't really cover IOTA extensively, but this one we were all over. Dash, cup and handle here in Dash. Been talking about this one for a couple of weeks now, as it popped up here for the past couple of days. We've been on it since right about there, and it popped up the other day and just hasn't really stopped. Paused for a minute, but not really. Just kept going. Neo today, we really kind of put a level out for Neo, more against BTC, but you can see every single one of these top 20 coins doing something healthy. I mean, it's really different than what we've seen this entire bear market. We've had pumps here and there, but this type of long basing action at lows is a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. Ethereum Classic, even the weirdness that this is even looking like it's being accumulated or at least done selling. You can see a couple scallops going on right there. We had a trend line there, similar cup and handle. Another chance here maybe to get it with a tight stop for a breakout of some kind for some reason. I don't know why. Even one of the coins I hate, NEM, always trades like crap, but right now actually it's been trending pretty good lately. We've had it out of this consolidation. Boom, everything's broken out of everything or is in the process of breaking out, other than Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. Other than those three. We even had Zcash out of a double bottom pattern here with 2 alert levels, 56.94, 57.82. Both of those got, even though they started breaking with low volume, it ended up getting going finally. We've had VET since the lows here, trying to break out of a much lower area. We had this trend line, but more importantly, a horizontal trend line right about there that we were eyeballing. We had alerts for it against BTC. Even Doge, we even caught the breakout in Doge. I mean, everything has been setting up, cup and handles. It's just been, if you haven't seen these charts, then you need to, you're asleep at the wheel, because they've just been everywhere. They've really been everywhere, and it's just been one's working, the other one's working, the other one's working. Not always in the moment, obviously, but sometimes it takes a day or a week or something. Like VET took a while to really get going. We kind of broke this trend line here, and it chopped around for a week and then started to kind of get going. Now it's moving. Even ICX, excuse me, even ICX, which I don't believe is a top 20 coin, but one we've been following lately. We have it coming out of this lower area right here, and Ontology doing similar things, but this one had already broken out. So, I mean, yeah, the market's just been getting on with the program. And then, yeah, now we are here today with BTC sitting at the 4,200 level. It looking like it was getting pretty froggy up there. You see the volume declining a little bit here, but I mean, kind of getting some pops. You see my 2-hour volume aggregation tool still very green. Still very green. Not a lot of selling involved, but this is an area that is pretty dangerous. This is kind of one of those, this is a very obvious trade, and there is a possibility for some kind of manipulation. I'm not a huge believer in major market manipulation, But what I'm referring to is manipulation in the means of if someone does have a motive, whether it be long or short, they may try to shake the market out in the opposite direction to kind of take a little bit more liquidity from the market to ramp it up. And we'll have to see how that one works out. But this is a pretty whipsaw area, susceptible to whipsaws. So I haven't had chat in a while. I wonder if there's a problem in the chat. Can someone say something, or is everyone that enthralled with what I'm saying? I just want to make sure it's not broken. Is it broken? I don't know. So someone say something if you see that. So Chi mentioning the XRP army is holding the line. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it's possible. Wind Moon. Okay. People still here. I guess you're just enthralled with what I'm discussing. That's cool. Wind Moon. Someone said that in the Power Hour the other day. Who was that? That was awesome. I think it was Mac. Mac said Wind Moon. I just started cracking up because I haven't heard that in a long time. Really haven't heard that in a real long time. Everyone. It's funny, you know, you kind of think by this stage of the market, I mean, people would stop saying that Wind Moon. The Wind Moon question really could be answered at the 4,200 level. If it's not going to break out from 42, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, I think, for it to come back. I mean, this is one of those make or break moments in BTC. Let's go back to the daily chart. We'll point out a few of those make or break moments because the market always has potential turning points. If you look at the bull market, where's your potential turning points here, right? The scary moments. Where is it scary to go long or short? Where's it scary to do the inverse? You know, pretty much these well-defined areas of lows that are so clear on the chart now in real time. Really feels like you're jumping into boiling water, doesn't it? It's just it really feels, unless you've been involved and kind of, you know, understand a little bit. We were live for, I don't know, I think it was one of these or something. This one, we were live for this one for sure. And we caught that one live and called that bottom pretty appropriately. If you guys remember that video, if you don't, go to my channel and check out December 22nd. Put in 12-22, and you'll see a live stream of that video. That's the only video of mine that I really ever pump because it gives you so much information about how the market really looks in one video. A lot of people kind of abstract things. Even I have to do that because you can't show every market scenario. But I do like to be live for potential turning points in the market simply for the fact that I can record them and YouTube can display them later on for all of us to learn from. So this is one of those moments, 12:22, if you want to see how a reaction in a market kind of turns around. And I got commentary, obviously. That was a great moment. And that was like 3 a.m. if I remember. I have two videos back to back, 12:21 and 12:22. If you want to see where I went to bed, go watch the 12:21 video. If you want to see me 3 hours later waking up from an alert on my phone, catch the 12:22 video. Those were the days. And those were the days. It's been pretty boring lately without, you know, without anything major going on in crypto the past month. One of the reasons why I've been away is just not much to talk about to you guys in terms of really large picture. Nothing's really changed until today when we're really squeezing up towards 4,200. That is really it. What's up, Van Dyke? Yeah, Munter, it's been a while. Sorry about that, guys. Actually, we're working on a pretty exciting project, and you'll see that sometime in the summertime probably. Also, yeah, I've really just been focusing on that. All right. But yeah, so right now at 42, we got Bitcoin 0.89. XRP actually starting to get healthy. We talked about that a little bit. Ethereum also squeezing up. So let's talk about recent. Let's go from top down, talk about recent. Talk about like what we could be looking at potentially here. We saw yesterday or late yesterday, we had a whipsaw right here. We've seen these whipsaws time and time again. And we were kind of, I mean, I was telling everyone in the Power Hour, you know, I try to get people ready for what the market could potentially do. And this was such a treacherous environment. I mean, yes, it has been trending upward, but some of the, People like taking really tight stops. I like taking really tight stops. And when you're undercutting like low areas like this, because a lot of guys are just trying to take smaller trades or something like that. And then when you have these whipsaws, going long has been pretty difficult unless you're just willing to buy and hold it. If you're willing to buy and hold it for a while and have a really wide stop loss, that's one thing. But a lot of people try to have a tighter stop loss, and this has been treacherous environments for that. This run here especially, we had a drop down here. We had kind of a longer H pattern, noted it rolling over, and then it immediately reverses on you here, and then a higher low, very similar to this. And we talked about it doing that in the moment, and not getting blatantly short here because the volume wasn't that extensive, and it curls right back up on us, and then does this, and now you're rallying into highs. So you don't want to be too aggressive in these situations, in terms of your stop loss, I should say. But hold on, Craig's saying something. Up to a 4,800, then big crash to 35. So yeah, let's talk about that scenario, because a couple of videos ago we discussed, I think it was over here actually, maybe over here, about rallying back up to the 5,000s, if you guys recall that video. What we discussed over here was it kind of, this is like kind of a cup with handle. Maybe we rally back up to here, and then we kind of falter, putting in a higher low. This is a low. This would be a higher low. We really don't definitively have another higher low over here. So we easily could rally. Even from here, we could do the same thing that I was discussing over here. We could rally from here, and the 200 is really close. This 200 is right. It's at $4,600. So a break above the 200 would bring a lot of people back to the market. I will say that. You're going to have a lot of traders that are looking for the 200 to break as a key indicator. And for some of them, that breaking the 200-day would be a hodl level. Okay, the hodl people are still around. I know I've got a position that I'm actually hodling. It just sits there. I do nothing with it. I'm sure a lot of you do as well, and that's fine. But there's other people that are looking for some metric to break before jumping in, and for some of them it's going to be that 200 period, the 200-day moving average. So, they may jump in right here, and that's fine. Which may bring a larger bounce. We could get a 5% pop just off the 200-day, maybe even based off of those hodl people. Whatever the pop is, just pulling 5% out of my butt here. But yeah, we could definitely get a pop on that if we get above here. Get a pop out of that. But there's still this big area. There's a huge area up here of what's called overhead supply. I mean, it's really called overhead supply. Sorry, I got screaming on my kids in the other room. Okay, mom's got it. So this overhead supply here, what this is, overhead supply is where, you're down in a low area. Things going to rally. But what happens, there's still people that own Bitcoin from up here. Still to this day, they still own Bitcoin. That's never going to change. Some people are hodling Bitcoin from 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. I mean, people are hodling Bitcoin from many different levels. And as we get higher, some people are going to start selling because they just want to get out of it. They're sick of it, whatever the case may be. And when you have a clear area like this, this is like an ocean of price range. I mean, I guess if you want to, you can narrow it down to that if you really want to kind of get specific. But it's still a pretty wide ocean of price range right there. That's about a 25% range in price, give or take, right? I'm sure I can do that real quick. Yeah, about 25%. 25% price range. Could easily distribute off anywhere in here. You can draw some fibs if you want to. You could try to take a measured move off of this if you want to call this inverted head and shoulders, which we've discussed about that. Whatever your metric is, whatever your metric is, you can go ahead and use that metric. Not one's going to be right versus the other, okay? Some guy's going to tout fibs and how other stuff sucks. One guy's going to say his stuff's good and fibs suck, so whatever. But when we get up in this area, you're going to have to see how the market behaves, okay, if we get up here. But if we get up here, you're going to have to see how the market behaves because it's going to be, you're going to look for the pattern. Is it accumulating? Is it a nice Is it a nice tight distribution? If we roll over, which we eventually will, something like this, right? How does it behave? You know, all of those things which, you know, you have to look at the market every day and kind of check it out, look for your key levels, see where things stop. Because right now we don't know where things are going to go up, but let's say it goes up to 52, we don't, and then it starts pulling back. We don't know where it's going to pull back to. So you have to give things a little bit of space to work. And then you can start to think about maybe exiting positions or something like that. But I will say this, something I've said in the past, and I really talked about it over here, was the last time I really talked about it. And it's the last time it was true out of this, if you guys remember this head and shoulders pattern, inverted head and shoulders pattern. When Bitcoin wants to rally, it doesn't pull back. It does not pull back. So Bitcoin rallied here, we had to buy here, we had to buy here. And somewhere in this day, there's a little small pause, one or two. And look at this very tight consolidation, and then it gave it up, obviously, because it's a bear market. But if we're in this situation, all right, hold on a second. All right, sometimes Dad's got to get involved in what's going on. And that was one of those times. Yeah, so in a nutshell, even if we do rally out of this, it's going to have to be extraordinarily aggressive. It's going to have to be very, very aggressive. Otherwise, we're really just gonna run the risk of just a rollover. There's still a conglomerate of bears out there. Guarantee that. There's always a conglomerate of bulls, always a conglomerate of bears. And when one's ruling, the other's asleep, and vice versa. You know, the bulls will even turn to bears, you know, as in 2017. But in this situation, it's got to break 42. Doesn't break 42, then we're going to probably go right back and test the lows. I'll be a little surprised if we don't, but that's just right now without any price action on the right side of this little green candle. Like you remember up here, I said if it goes higher, we have to see how it reacts. Similar situation. If this fails, we have to see how it reacts. Because if you look here on the daily chart, we have, you know, lower and lower volume. So if it's just another low volume drop, you know, it may break this trend line, but maybe it's like this. Maybe it's just, okay, we'll drop a little bit. Maybe it maintains this low. Maybe it undercuts that, but stays above this level here. Maybe it bounces down to the 50-day and bounces off of that, because this has been acting support over here since we broke it about a month and a half ago. So we have to see how it behaves in both scenarios. The behavior is very important, and that can be a little hard to read sometimes. But in the end, what you're looking at is, you know, how high are the lows compared to each other? How high are the highs compared to each other? There's a lot of ratios involved with that. Not necessarily maths per se, but even just visual cues. You have to be kind of on top of your game with that stuff. But and Bitcoin's staying with a little bit high volume. I wanted to get to 42. That's why I was jumping on here today. Again, you know, trying to catch these live moments if we can. Willing to stay on here for a while to kind of watch it and check it out. Maybe have to jump off for a minute to put the kids to bed and, I don't know, maybe spank one of them. But other than that, may be here for a little while. I do want to try to catch this pop or this drop. Now, something interesting, and I think the VA tool does this type of movement a lot of justice. Not in every cases, but in certain circumstances. You know, if you look at this chart, obviously it's in an uptrend. Obviously, there's a bunch of wicks, right, all over the place. You got an up wick, an up wick here, a bunch of up wicks here. You got all the down wicks over here. But, like, what does that really mean? And this volume aggregation tool is really designed to give you a little more insight into how healthy actually is this uptrend. And it's not 100%, you know, because this can't encapsulate all the minutia of every single trade. So in time, I will end up having that tool, but I don't have it yet. But you can see here, just based on candles, just based on the candles and the algorithm that I have for the VA tool, you can see how bullish we got here. I mean, obviously. But then over here, you notice the bulls and the bears are mixed. We have a big down day, but no major peak in the volume aggregation tool. Another down day, no major peak in the volume aggregation tool. And then it just starts ratcheting up right throughout here. Start seeing expansion. And like we said earlier, more importantly, these sells have been drifting off, and that can be pretty impressive. Tron looks like it's getting back on with the program here. Tron broke out of our level over here, right there, earlier this morning. I think it was during the power hour, wasn't it? Yeah, we broke that during the power hour. We've got a couple good breaks during the power hour lately. Not too bad. Does the bearish divergence work with the volume ag tool? Oh, you mean with the RSI? We've looked at that a little bit. I have seen a couple instances. I don't usually use, I mean, I do have the RSI up here, but I don't really actively use it, to be honest with you. It is kind of part of my toolkit, but it's a loose part of my toolkit, so I really don't actively. I mean, this is a secondary or third indicator. In the same way, this is a secondary indicator, but it can give you a little bit of insight. Sometimes if you're wondering what's going on, you can look at the VA tool, and sometimes even go down to the 1 minute if things are, you know, really crazy. I'll go down to the 1 minute and say, okay, what's it doing at a micro level here? Okay, a little more accumulation than distribution, a lot more accumulation than distribution, a lot more accumulation. So you can kind of go back and see what the pops and the drops. And this is, I mean, minute data is as close as I can get to real life trading data right now. So at this stage of the game, I just kind of have to settle for doing that. So I'll jump down here and kind of get a feel for stuff, then I'll usually jump a little bit higher. Yeah, sure. We have seen some instances. There was one time where, I forget the coin right now. I don't know if there's any, I don't know if I've seen any power hour members in here so far. Usually there's about 4 or 5 of them in here. I don't see any right now. Whoops. What I've seen is that a good metric with the VA tool is kind of like a trend line of volume, if you will. You know, sometimes you can use that as a decent indicator if things are getting a little bit more, you know, a little bit more volume coming in. This one not such a great example, but you know, shit! I spilled my whole water all over my desk. All right, I got to address this. I'm going to mute this. I'll be right back. Yeah, definitely real crypto when stuff like this happens. I can honestly say that's never happened before. I just got a towel from the... I got a row of sticky notes that are all destroyed here, so it's mostly cleaned up. I'm going to bang on my keyboard. Let's see what I break. All right, look at that. What other crypto analyst is going to cover live water spills for you? It's the danger of doing live TV, ladies and gentlemen. I'm living dangerously over here. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. As long as the keyboard works. I wonder if it's working. I wonder if I broke it. What's up, Jimmy Choo? I'd be doing better if, I guess part of my keyboard works. I'll have to put it in front of a fan or something. Anyway. No, not James at the water cooler. That's just stupid dad. Oh, that sticky note is toast. What's that one? Okay, it's talking about my sequel stuff. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Somebody want to remind me? Oh, I lost a bunch of people due to my water spill. That's okay. Do you think people make the mistake of placing too much emphasis on the 2015 trend? Yes, I do, James, actually. That is something that I do think. Look, I'm not the originator of that, but I definitely was, I will say, one of the first to make a larger deal of that back when I was, talking about Bitcoin and parabolic moves and topping and stuff like that. And really rhyming it and placing a lot of my analysis on that. But as I've been, just leave it open for now. It's okay. Thank you. I really think it stopped working a year ago, last April, and I've discussed this in a number of videos where I think we stopped rhyming about that time. Not doing better, anything? Yeah, and, someone mentioned capitulation a little earlier. Let's talk about that, because that's a very important topic. I've been talking about capitulation. Other people have been talking about capitulation. It's a real thing. But, every market is a little bit unique. No market is exactly the same as the previous market, ever. Things do rhyme considerably, especially in BTC, which is, I think, one of the reasons why a lot of people have kind of jumped on that 2015 chart bandwagon, is because it's easy to look at a chart and kind of ascertain, well, this looks like this and this looks like this. And again, I was doing that. From actually a little bit before the bear market started. And then once the bear market started, I started putting out videos 25K or 2,500, kind of giving people those possibilities. But every market is different. And in this situation, I think there's a lot of validity to the institutions coming into the space. The Bitcoin ecosystem has just broadened in the past 2 years, probably 1,000-fold. All the exchanges that are out there, the dark pools, or what do they call them, over-the-counter exchanges. There's just all these different ways to get involved in Bitcoin, the ATMs and all that stuff. The ecosystem has really broadened substantially, and I think maybe one of the reasons we haven't seen a capitulation is because that volume, instead of being so focused into a couple of exchanges, is being distributed throughout that larger ecosystem. So if you think about it like the Grand Canyon, if you have a huge rainstorm in a canyon, maybe not the Grand Canyon, but in a canyon with a small ecosystem, it's going to fill up that stream really quick, and you're going to notice it. But let's say you take a small stream and put that same amount of rainfall into the Grand Canyon, it may not register. So the same type of thing we may be kind of witness to here is the fact that there may be so much liquidity in so many different areas that it's not effectively registering on a single exchange, which is why we don't see a singular capitulation candle. Because if you look at the I know I'm not really moving the chart a lot because everything's my desk is still in disarray. Really back in 2015, what were your options for trading Bitcoin? Bitstamp. Mt. Gox was gone by then. Coinbase. I think Coinbase was back then. Like just after that, I think you can, like right. I think that's January 15, 2015. Yes, yeah. I think that's Coinbase. Yeah, January 13th. So. And just got an alert level on XRP right now. So let's go take a look at that. It's up 2.19% right now. Breaking that trend line. Go alerts. Go alert system. So there you go. Yeah. So I guess I talk about the alert system. Talk a little bit about the Power Hour. That is kind of my flagship. Actually, my only service. I got a couple webinars. That's like my only service thing that I have. So we talk about the market once a day and all that good stuff. We also have the alert system. One of our members, Paul, built for us. And we basically put alerts on about 150 coins, and I adjust them, not every day, but as I see fit. And so, we get alerted on things. We have a Slack chat room. I'm sure a lot of you guys know about that. And the alert systems are served through the Slack chat room, so I get alerts through Slack. If you guys are kind of curious about that. So yeah, I get the alerts on my phone and on my computer and on my tablet and on all that other good stuff. And so there's XRP kind of rallying up a little bit. Bitcoin still holding up towards 1%, still pushing that 4,200 level. Tron pulling back a little more, was up 7% a minute ago. Pretty good volumes, man. Look at that. Just good moves in Tron right there. Look at the volumes expanding a little bit. Just a little bit, not a lot, but definitely elevated. Looking pretty good right there. I don't know, man. I think we're gonna try it. I think we're gonna go to 42. I think we're gonna pop past it. I don't know if it's gonna end up with a shakeout or not. It really just depends how much pent up buying demand there is. And actually, on my other screen, let me look at the let me look at my Coinbase and see if there's. See, I think there's probably some limit orders, but they're probably hidden. They're iceberging or something like that. Where's 40? I can't see 42 on my. Can I get to a depth chart? Let me check a depth chart. Where's a depth chart? Oh, it's right in front of my face. Duh. Yeah, it's kind of a big buyer to there at 42. 1.7 million, 412 BTC at about 4,200. That's not too bad. There's a lot of cells up there is what it is. But those will probably easily be removed if we do end up getting up there. What up, Paul? Paul's waiting till 43 and FOMOing in. You know what? You got to respect a man with a plan. I mean, period. Respect the man with the plan. I think I should have spilled the water in my plant on my desk. That'd have been a better use of it. I need to water this plant. I haven't watered it in like 2 weeks. Hold on a second, guys. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. XRP, a little bit of volume, not a whole lot. BSV got pumping too. We got a little alert on BSV. I saw that one earlier. Pulling back a little bit. What do we got? XMR. XMR selling off. Wouldn't think XMR would be selling off if Bitcoin was going to break out. Yeah, it's the first negative we've had today on XMR. And VeChain been doing. Oh, there's a little bit of selling coming in. Maybe we're going to sell into this thing. So here's the thing with BTC up this high. Let me go over to my my spreadsheet coins. So these are all the coins we have alerts on, by the way. We have all these coins with alerts. Hey, what's up, Hikaru? How you doing, buddy? So BCN, AE. See if anything's really tanking. ENG having a bad day, but ENG always has bad days. What do we got here? Nothing else really that out of sorts yet. Nothing out of sorts. That 6% appears to be the biggest. I guess I could just sort by percentage here. That would make things easier. Yep, there you go. 6%, 5%, 5%. Nulls at 4%. That was running. Another stock we've been, or coin we've been following pretty well on the way up here. I will say this to kind of toot our horn in the power hour a little bit. I will say this. We pretty much owned Raven coin. If you guys saw the move that thing had. I will say this. We owned that move. Almost this entire move, we pretty much owned it. Maybe one spot we misread something, but other than that, all the way down here we started talking about an ascending base. I'm just gonna give myself a shout out for this. This was pretty damn impressive in my opinion. We started talking about an ascending base and Raven way down here. Right about there. So there's your, if you guys don't know what an ascending base is a series of 3 consolidations in a row that end up kind of, leading to a breakout. This thing led to a monstrous breakout. We noticed this in the middle of the second consolidation up here. Hey, what's up, Alex? Yeah, we noticed this over here, and it broke out of this third one. Not a major rally, but held above the trend, and then just went crazy. Just went insane. Had a selling candle up here, and we talked about re-entering on this one. That broke, and then up here came. I think we may have exited a little late on this one. It wasn't very clear, but then we nailed the entry over here. It was just a tremendous. This was one of those that couldn't have gone better. Really, just couldn't have. These don't happen every day, but it's really great when they do. I think our entry was like right. Wasn't it like right? That looks familiar, doesn't it, Alex? Wasn't it right there about 7-11 or something like that? I think that's about where our entry was. And then just catching this whole thing up here. For the most part, we've been spot on. So now we have another alert over here at 1608 for Raven coin. I don't know how much higher it's going to go. It's already had a huge run. It's like 500%, but that's just been that's been really fun. That's been the most fun I've had in a long time in trades. I just got to say, it's choreographed extraordinarily well. They don't all do that. They don't all act that way, but super cool stuff. All right, so we're stalling a little bit up here. See the elevated volume? So 11 minutes left in a 2-hour candle. And it looks like we're going to sell off a little bit. Hopefully not too much. I want to get a pop or a drop or something. See something happen. Otherwise, I may have to go without a pop, and that would be horrible. Horrible. See if XRP pulling back. See, no major volumes up here. We're not having those big volume pops. Even Tron doing pretty good. The volume's good, but it's not, from what I remember, not super impressive. Come on. Come on. You can do it. BAT's been looking good. Yeah, BAT has been looking good, as a matter of fact. This has been our lines on BAT. So we started out in this larger. Well, actually, I have other lines over here. I think that I've since deleted. So it came out, formed this larger base. We had kind of a little point right there, and then we had another point here at 55, and then it rallied really well, and then we came over here out of this base, and we had a little thing at 67.36, and it's pulling back into that level. Looks like it's finding a little bit of support. Maybe it'll end up making another level unless the market falls apart. And Joel's saying that Litecoin's falling apart a little bit. Let's check. I don't think so quite yet. You're right. It could lead us on the way down too. That's definitely a possibility. So Bitcoin's been kind of floating higher, and I think that's what we saw earlier in that Litecoin Bitcoin chart. Over here. Ah, darn it. I keep thinking it starts with a T for some stupid reason. So yeah, we noticed this falling apart against Litecoin. Kind of a weird head and shoulders pattern right there, but it got a pretty elevated neckline. And then it's just kind of been giving it up there. So excuse me. As Bitcoin's been rallying, Litecoin has been very flat, which ends up in this action. So I was thinking Litecoin or Bitcoin may take the lead there. Thoughts on Dent? I guess I don't have Dent up here. Is that a Dent? D-E-N-T. I guess I don't have a thought on that. I don't even have. I'm not even getting. Oh, it's only on. Why am I only on BitMEX? That's dumb. There we go. Dent. This actually should be on my list. Anything on Binance should be on my list. First of all, it's a very low Satoshi coin, so you have to be very, very careful about trading this coin, first of all, because the percentage moves are just going to be astronomical. You're talking 5% per tick in one direction. So you're basically trading on leverage already, so your position size should be much smaller than you would typically take. Second of all, it's not really in a big uptrend. I probably wouldn't be too involved to look out over that 27 level right there. Nulls has been pretty good too. We've had nulls here a couple of times, pretty much stepping on the way up. Respecting the 50-period moving average here on my 2-hour chart. A lot of coins have been doing that lately. Wow, 0.1%. That's crazy. Litecoin down 0.25%, was up 0.25%, now it's down 0.25%. And Bitcoin stalling out a little bit up here at the 4,200 level. Not sure who's going to push it through, or if anybody will push it through. They've been supporting it up here so far. I mean, even back to yesterday, about what, 28 hours ago, 24 hours plus 4 hours. That equals 28, right? Even then, look at that. You had a nice movement back to the upside right there. So there's some people buying BTC here. I can't assume it'll end up popping up at some stage. At least a bull trap at least. That appears to be the minimum that we could do here. Is at least trap a bunch of bulls in above 42 before whipping it back lower. It says keep them stop losses tight. Yeah, this may be a scenario. This may be a scenario. So we talked actually the other day, kind of about here. This is today. So this is yesterday actually. Regarding taking a defensive long, we used to talk about a defensive short in BTC. We also talked a little bit about defensive longs. I kind of talked about that in terms of, hey, you know what, the market kind of is at a turning point. You may kind of want to get in the inverse position just in case it goes in the opposite direction when you're at market turning points. And I kind of talked about a bit of a defensive long here because, you know, if you get in here and it rallies to 42, you've already got a 2%, and it'll be like a 2%, about 2.5% gain. So if this thing does BART back down, instead of buying at 42, you buy down here, and then let's say you make your stop down here, you're down 5.5 instead of 8%. So I was kind of talking about that in terms of a defensive buy. Joel asks a question: how much weight do you give to the relevancy of longs and shorts? Longs and shorts, not a lot. Some, but not a lot. We haven't found a very definitive. Now, one member of our community, 50 Satoshi, he's in our Slack chat room. If you guys want to get involved with our Slack chat room, you can just go to the front page of my website, actually. I'll put it up there for those of you that haven't seen it in the past. You go to real-crypto.com. There's a dash in there. And right here on the front, you don't even got to like dig around for it. Free chat room. Just put your name and your email address. I don't spam you. Nothing like that. And then you'll get into our Slack chat room. 50 has a good way of actually doing that. He says, I haven't really looked at it that much, to be honest with you. He gives a dollar weighting to the longs and shorts, and he says he's had pretty decent success with that. But me personally, I don't really give it too much of a thought, the longs versus the shorts. You know, we have seen when shorts are low, it does tend to drop due to that. But if you look at it right now, the longs and shorts are almost even, so there's not a big bias in either direction. So I don't think you can really use that as a case for longing or shorting the market. When you're not getting a very clear signal out of a tool, you just don't use it as much, and it's not as relevant, obviously. Is what good or bad news? Oh, likes. That's right. The like button. Thank you, Fambe. My online marketer never got awoken, and I never asked to hit the like button. So, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please hit the like button. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe. And check out my website, real-crypto.com. I guess I'll plug some stuff since Fambe's remembered me that I guess technically my business is internet marketing when you think about it. And I really suck at that business. I don't market at all. It's real crypto, not real marketing. So there you go. All right, Bitcoin, do something. 41.73. Let's go. That's already 42 over here on Bitfinex. Not sure if that's relevant to the recent price or not. We're still a little bit below. I think Randall has an exponential short going on for XRP. Exponential short going on. I will say this about crypto. Other than maybe Tesla, there are no stocks that have the fan base like cryptos have with different cryptos. It's just phenomenal. It's kind of like sports mixed with investing. There's no other trading in the world that I'm aware of that people just are in love with or hate with whatever they choose to love or hate. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. It's pretty fun. Because in reality, I really doubt Randall's losing money if XRP goes up. So technically he should have no emotional attachment to XRP, but apparently has disdain for it deep down in his soul somewhere. Ed's on Team Icon. See, everyone's got one. Yeah, I really don't care about any of them. Could really care less. I like crypto as a whole. I think it's cool. But, yeah, I really don't care. Did you read an article about 80% of the XRP army being bots? I have not. I have not read about that. Frogger hates XRP. See? Paul, in love with Bcash. Anyone here hate Bcash? Phil loves ETH. There you go. Everyone's got to have something they like and something they hate. I would probably say if I were to be a fan of any coin, if I had to pick one, I would probably say Cardano because it's a pretty damn geeky coin. I would probably say Cardano would probably be the coin that would that I would be a fan of. In terms of hate, like coin hate would be NEM. NEM is the coin that I would say if there's a coin that I hate. I don't have an emotional attachment, but it would probably be NEM, and next up would be Waves. Those would be my two coins that I would say that I would be in the hate camp. I can't, like about stocks, I'm really agnostic to every stock. Every single stock I really could care less. But when it comes to cryptos, I still could care less. But if I had to pick something good, Alex, have a good night, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow. Thoughts on SPY? I'm thinking good things about SPY. Got the NASDAQ up here, not the SPY, but I got the NASDAQ. These are the futures, so this is actually, this red bar here is live sessions. Yeah, I'm not mad at all at the markets right now. I mean, I think if Trump closes the Mexican border, that could hurt things. That could maybe cause another bout of selling. Other than that, I don't see a whole lot. I mean, I don't know if Brexit's going to cause anything. But this has been a very resilient market since the low in the bear market. And, yeah, I mean, we are pretty high on distribution days. I will say that. Other than that, yeah, I'm really not too mad at it. Not too mad at it at all. The financials had a really good day today. It looks like most of them are up about 3.5%. So that is very good for the market when the financials are doing good. Yeah, so not bad at all. If you guys are interested in stocks, I do a stock live stream every morning about when the market opens. So keep that in mind if you guys want to do that. Real dash stocks, just like real dash crypto, but for stocks. Artist says BNB will make you money. I do like BNB. Can't say I'm a fanboy of it, but I definitely appreciate what their coin's done. Ed asked, Waves, why is that? Because I was burned really bad on a bunch of Waves trades. That's why. There's a few trades on Waves. I mean, recently it's been fine. We had this huge run up over here. I don't know if I can get a big enough chart. We had a huge run up in Waves over here. I mean, that was fine. But I mean, other than that, Waves was just so hard to get a beat on. It looked like it was going to do something and it never did, and it's just garbage. Like there's Waves versus BTC. I mean, it's just you got one base, one pump, that's it. Garbage here, another pump, that was it. There was nothing. Waves did basically nothing. Oh, that's 28. Oh, this is on Binance. I must have been trading on Bittrex. There's more history over here that's just garbage. Watch XRP? Sure. Yeah, Bitcoin's not doing much. Oh, I'm already on XRP. Oh, there we go. XRP. Moving back up a little bit. Oh, is that why, Frogger? Larimer quit and there were no devs for Waves. Really? Yeah, that guy's like a sports player just dropping offspring everywhere and walking away. Yeah, maybe EOS will go the same way now. I have no idea. EOS sounds like a pretty promising crypto. I do have to say, from a technological perspective, if you're looking for decentralized yet somewhat centralized, to have a little bit of control. I mean, I really like the EOS architecture. It's been really cool. Horizon, what's up, man? So I've been working on a side project for kind of some trading tools, and that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've really been focused on that, And then every time I go to make, I got, family here too. So every time I think about making a video, it just ends up not working out. I've made a few that I just really didn't like. I didn't like, and then I never put them out. Burned on NGC. I don't know if I know what that one is. I don't have NGC over here. Yeah, I'm not sure what NGC is. Oh, it's a Bittrex coin. Ew, that thing's horrible all the way around. I mean, maybe getting a little better here, but not by much. Yeah, the family takes a while, Horizon. I've already had to pause the stream twice because of family. But really, it's my project that's just taking them a bunch of time. And it's really fun doing it too. So I'm really just trying to focus on that. BTC versus Japan. I guess. Let me just do it here. Yeah, I don't know about. I've never really looked at BTC versus other currencies, to be honest with you. I can't see how it'd be that different. Yeah, basically the same pattern. A little bit more curl to this one. There's a little bit more curl here than BTC Korea. I'm going to have to end the stream a little bit, guys. My voice is starting to go. And the dry air here in Arizona is getting to me right now. Korea does tend to kind of, move first, so could potentially. So this is a little different with, at least over here on Corbit. I don't know if that's a leading exchange or not. BTC South Korean won. Yeah, sure, Frogger, no problem, man. KRW. I'm going to try BitThumb. Is that different? No, it's about the same. This is definitely a little different. There's a more well-defined, at least it looks like a more well-defined trend line probably right there you could draw. In which case it's already broken out from there, but look at the volume signature here. It's just horrible. I have a hard time trusting charts that have really bad volume signatures. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a different chart, actually. Remember I mentioned Bitcoin doesn't pull back when it's kind of running in bull mode? That's kind of what that looks like. Really no major pullbacks right there. $41.77. Yeah, guys, I think I'm gonna head out. My throat's giving up here. So sorry we didn't see a pop. Oh, really, Randall? That's interesting. Yeah, you know what? The guy's a genius for making so much money, but it's unfortunate it comes at the expense of other people. I don't mind people making money. That's fine, but don't make it at the expense of other people. I think you should make money by providing a service, something of value, not by just, I guess he's created some stuff. He's going to argue there's value. I don't think he thinks he's an asshole, but pretty sure a lot of other people do. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here, guys. My voice isn't doing too good, and I gotta do Power Hour tomorrow, so I want to save a little bit. So, hey, guys, thanks for joining me today. Sorry it's been a long time since my last video. I know it's been a while. I know I need to post more frequently, but, I am always around, guys. If you really do want to hear more from me, kind of a shameless plug for my service, but I'm always here on the Power Hour every single day. We're talking, so it is $65 a month. But if you guys, we catch altcoin trades. It's a full trading ecosystem. It's not just me talking about crap. So if you guys do want to join, please feel free. I appreciate you joining, guys. Sorry we didn't get to see a pop. Maybe next time we'll end up with one, hopefully. All right, guys, I'll see you then. Have a good one.